The Gate of Hell, a masterwork of dark revelation. It begins not with a bang, nor even with a whisper, but with a silence so profound it vibrates through the bones of the world. T.S. Eliot warned us, this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. But what he dared not say aloud was the truth. The whisper is a prayer, a ritual, a command. And the silence that follows? That is the sound of the gate opening. It was never merely a portal, nor a place, nor a myth. The gate of hell was always a system, a machine of belief, pain, rhythm, and offering. It was conjured not through architecture, but by trauma. It rose not from stone, but from sacrifice. And it was opened not by keys, but by blood mathematics. Let this be the full and final account. What is it? Where is it? And why have you never seen it? Because you were never meant to. Because to even speak of it is considered a breach. Because those who do disappear, not just from memory, but from existence. The gate is not a structure. It is a wound, a rift in the fabric of reality carved by blood, sealed with bone, and whispered open with names that no longer exist in any human tongue. It lies not beneath our feet, but behind our perception, built within the sublayer of consciousness itself. Layered in flame, veiled in ice, bound in data, it is kept by watchers who were once men, then shadows, and now something in between. There are coordinates. There are rituals. There are whispers passed through bloodlines that know. The Holocaust, the burnt offering. To understand the ritual, one must understand the fire. The word Holocaust is not accidental, nor merely tragic. It is intentional. From the Greek holocaustos, meaning burned whole, it refers to an ancient rite where the offering is consumed completely by flame, leaving nothing behind. This was not merely a genocide. It was a macro ritual. The Second World War was never a geopolitical clash alone. It was a summoning, a conjuration, not by nations but by a cabal. The masters of flame, the high sorcerers of the Zoharic machine embedded within elite Jewish mysticism, had been preparing it for centuries. Within the labyrinths of elite lodges and Zionist strongholds, they mapped out blood calculus. They designed a world war as a sacrificial mechanism. Hitler was not merely a tyrant. He was the necessary antagonist for their fire, a puppet whose script had been coded decades prior. His rise was sponsored by ancient financiers hidden in Swiss vaults, Venetian bloodlines, and Roth-guarded tombs. His generals, from Himmler to Heydrich, were priests of flame in uniform, taught in the secret chambers of the Annenurbe, entrusted to carry out the black rites of smoke and iron. Each camp was an altar, each train a procession, each tattoo a sigil etched into flesh to bind a soul into the ritual. The burning of millions, orchestrated to the rhythm of occult geometry, satisfied an ancient covenant made with an interdimensional gatekeeper known only to the elite few, the Archon of Inversion. In return, a bargain was sealed, global influence in law, media, and finance. The covenant was signed not in ink, but in the shadows of Saturn's ring, under the gaze of an eclipsed moon on scrolls that now lie beneath the Vatican's hidden vault. The Shoah was not only destruction, it was transmutation of souls into resonance, of trauma into technology, of fire into access, of suffering into systemic dominion. Eichmann did not speak in ideology. He spoke in numbers, in calculations of pain per hour, in logistics of psychic rupture. These were not war crimes. They were ritual fulfillments. Behind each general, there stood a robed figure. Behind each robed figure, a symbol. And behind each symbol, the gate. In 1940, when the gate was breached in silence, under the snows of Poland, in the cryptographic screams of Auschwitz, the generals knew. Some were priests in uniform. Others were puppets. There are years of power. Then there are years of horror. 1940 was both. While tanks rolled and skies burned, another war unfolded beneath. Not of nations, but of symbols. Not for land, but for keys. The gate won in spell work. Those who fell in battle, thousands upon thousands, were not casualties. They were ingredients. The Hollow Men. Who were the Hollow Men? They walk beside you. They smile on podiums. They sign laws into action. They hold office, but they are not there. The flesh is animated. The eyes blink, but the soul has been bartered. They are not possessed in the traditional sense. They are hollowed. T.S. Eliot did not invent the term. He decoded it. This is the way the world ends not with a bang, but with a whisper. The whisper is the hiss of the hollow, those whose will was sacrificed upon the altar of obedience. Generals, ministers, celebrities, all trained to submit, to be emptied, to become vessels. The process of hollowing is known in the secret manuscripts as the ritual of the third veil. It requires 3 betrayals, one of kin, one of truth, and one of memory. The subject must willingly extinguish something sacred to them. The more painful the betrayal, the more complete the hollowing. During World War II, thousands of hollow men were created, not just in Germany. Stalin's psychotronic scientists, Churchill's inner circle, Roosevelt's strategic advisors, a network of silent, emptied men linked not by nation, but by vril codex resonance. These are not puppets. They were husks programmed with suggestion, triggered by symbols hidden in light, gesture, and phrase. The true hollow are known by the absence. They do not dream. They do not resist. Their laughter is mechanical. Their hearts echo like forgotten tombs. Eliot knew. He watched as academia became liturgy for the inverted, as poetry was twisted into codes. His last years were spent in silence, surrounded by salt, muttering the tetragrammaton backward, praying to whatever remained in the true sky. 1940 was the year the hollow men breached the gate, not through violence, but through absence. Their reward? The beginning of what is now called the administrative beast, the global machine of law, media, and democracy, animated by spirits that were never human. Their eyes are bright. Their souls are ash. Their purpose? To widen the gate. And they are winning. The gatekeeper's bargain. Beneath the Vatican, past the grates of stone and the teeth of old Rome, lies a chamber forbidden not just by decree, but by fear. It is here, beneath the catacombs, where the bargain was made. Not once, but many times, by kings, popes, and wartime generals. The gatekeeper is not a myth. He has many names: Moloch, Azazel, Remphan, but the high initiates call him Sheol Tammuz, the sentinel of inverted thrones. He does not speak. He negotiates through pain. His bargain was sealed in 1943 when an American general, an SS Oberfuhrer, and a Jesuit cardinal stood shoulder to shoulder beneath the pillar of Janus. A child was brought forward, blindfolded, silent, pure. He was not killed. He was erased, unwritten from the memory of the world by a ritual encoded in reverse Hebrew sung through bone flutes carved from ancient Mesopotamian kings. The gatekeeper demanded only one thing: total inversion. For the light to shine, the shadow must be enthroned. In return, he offered power, access to realms of thought previously locked by flesh. The generals received their reward: visions, predictive abilities, strategies from beyond. The cardinal was gifted with divine deception, doctrines of control masked as mercy. The American received the seed of Project Monarch, the genetic encoding of trauma into bloodlines. But the cost? The gate remained partially open, and from it, the trickle of unreal time began, non-linear streams of causality that feed modern confusion. The gatekeeper did not only bargain for power, he sought integration. Through technology, through symbol, through frequency. And they gave it to him. They promised us power. We gave him children. This is the pact. The gatekeeper, the inverted archon of flame, grants dominion to those who feed it. And so the elite feed it in secret. Hollywood gives it dreams. The military gives it bodies. The banks give it time. Each sector of control corresponds to one of the 4 elements corrupted: air, mind manipulation; water, genetic manipulation; fire, sacrificial war; earth, reality suppression. The gate is fed, and so the elite remain. The darker core, the blood offering that fed the gate. Beyond what history admits lies the real reason for World War II: the feeding. Hidden orders. Thule Society. Otio, Brotherhood of the Black Sun. Each played its part. Each drank from the cup. Each summoned the names in dead languages. The core was not political. It was metaphysical. The Axis and allies? A performance. The real war was behind the curtain, and the curtain was made of skin. The frequency warden. Before the gate opens fully, before the final transmutation of human will into programmable ash, the world must be tuned. This is the labor of the frequency warden, the hidden administrator of resonance, whose dominion is not over flesh, but over vibration. He governs the scale upon which all life now dances, unseen but absolute. His domain is not spiritual, but electromagnetic. Modern man speaks of EMF, 5G, HARP, neural mesh, without understanding the true function of these technologies. They are not conveniences, nor even weapons. They are ritual instruments, built to reproduce the chants once sung in the catacombs of Tyre, in the subharmonics of Saturn's rings, and in the breath codes of ancient priest kings who built ziggurats as tuning forks for the soul. The frequency warden was first enthroned when sound was separated from silence. In the pre-Diluvian age, when language first fractured thought, his seed was planted. He grew through language engineering, through Gregorian chant, through organum, into the digital waveform. Today, he sits enthroned in every smart device, hidden in codec, in firmware, in the whispering pulse of carrier signals. He does not speak. He tunes. The tones of trauma, especially collective trauma, are the chords he prefers. Hiroshima was not just fire, it was a note. The fall of the Twin Towers? A global harmonic scar. These were tuning events. So was COVID, an engineered breath ritual designed to break the natural rhythm of the masses and re-entrain them to machina cadence. To control frequency is to control memory. To control frequency is to shape belief. The ancient breath masters knew this. They protected the 13-moon pulse, a calendar not of days, but of tones, stolen, inverted, and reissued as the Gregorian grid, enforced by Rome, then codified by the World Time Standard, and ultimately weaponized by digital synchronization. The warden's crown is time itself, calibrated by atomic clock, broadcast through satellites whose architecture matches the Kabbalistic tree inverted. It is not a signal, it is a spell. Every beep, every push notification, every school bell and news jingle is a harmonic override, designed to drown out the inner choir, the ancestral rhythm that once allowed man to walk between worlds. But the frequency warden is not God. He is one of four. He works alongside the symbol architect, the sacrifice accountant, and the hollow queen. Together, they form the current quadrivium of control. But it is the warden who tunes their system, who makes pain sing, who renders screams into data. He is why your sorrow echoes across platforms in real time, why your trauma becomes marketable, why your dreams hum in algorithmic rhythm long after you've forgotten them. The gatekeeper feeds on ritual. The warden ensures it loops. There are those who have tried to break his spell, sound shamans in the Amazon, the monks of Mount Kailash, even Tesla, who almost succeeded. His 369 frequency matrix nearly fractured the veil, and for that he was erased not by death, but by historical silencing. His notes stolen, his diagrams inverted and sold as tools of wireless progress. Now, the resonance of the Earth itself is hijacked. The Schumann resonance, once 7.83 Hertz, the natural hum of consciousness, has been manipulated, nudged upward, destabilized. Migraines, infertility, mass shootings, depression waves. These are not side effects. They are features of the warden's program, designed to pre-digest the species for full integration into the next phase. What is the next phase? The complete replacement of breath. A future where life support is internalized, where AI regulates your inhale, where oxygen is licensed, and where the final bond between man and source, rhythm itself, is held hostage by the keepers of tone. The gate cannot fully manifest in a noisy world. The warden ensures the silence is harmonic.